Hey YouTube, this is Don't Inquire, the red shirt guy, coming back at you with another Path of Exile video. Sorry I haven't been making many videos. I've been very busy streaming at twitch.tv/Don't Inquire. Okay, all seriousness aside, yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about why I think you should play Path of Exile. The you in this scenario is probably a Diablo fan who has never played Path of Exile, or a PoE fan who is maybe not sure about this league. Maybe you missed the last couple leagues, you didn't like them, whatever. Or that guy who played PoE like 5 years ago, and you're like, I just couldn't get into the game. The combat feels clunky. It's not as good. There's not enough to do, whatever. I'm going to cover all the bases. This is not going to get into any of the specifics of the new Betrayal League for Path of Exile. This will be more of a macro overview. I honestly don't have the time in my life to cover the specifics of a new Path of Exile patch. That's how crazy they are. I mean, I can give you bullet points if you want bullet points. 15 new unique items, a handful of new divination cards. New league mechanics. The Betrayal League allows you to interrogate, assassinate, disrupt, whatever. I don't know. There's like a bunch of different things you can do to people you find out in the game world. What else is there? Good God. So they've got new skill gems. They've got rebalancing for skill gems. They've got rebalancing for some of the unique items that have been in the game for a million years. That's actually one I'm really excited about. They try and keep equipment slots competitive across the various playstyles, across similar playstyles. They don't want everybody to just throw on a lore weave and not think about it. So they're buffing things. They're reworking some other things. So I think this is a really good patch overall. I actually want to show everybody something. If I can direct your attention over here to over there, desktop. There we go. So these are the patch notes for Diablo 3 Season 16, the Season of Grandeur. I know, I took a sidestep. Watch this. Just to give you an idea of what you can expect in a Path of Exile League. Here are the mentions of the percent sign in the newest Diablo patch notes for their PTR. 58 mentions of the percent sign. And just to clarify, this is their tuning league. This is like the rebalance. Every class is going to be competitive in the meta. 58 mentions. And by the way, those mentions are all, percentage to percentage. So it's like, really, you're only getting about 29 lines here of percent signs because they're all A to B. So let's go check out the Path of Exile notes. Mentions of the percent sign, not the comments, right here. Jesus. 191 unique mentions of the percent sign. Now, granted, a lot of these are A to B, probably most of them. So still, it's like 90 unique mentions of changes, which is crazy. That's absolutely crazy. That's one league. Now let's take a look at another league. This is the previous league on Path of Exile. If you scroll all the way up, you'll see 207 mentions. This is the Delve League, which has just ended. And if we go to yet another league, I know, follow me down the rabbit hole. Look at this. The Incursion League, Content Update 3.3, 349 mentions of the percent sign. Jeez Louise. Now, the percent sign is not an all-encompassing value, okay? It's just a quick glance at how much changes in the meta from patch to patch in Path of Exile, which I think is really cool. So something else that's really interesting, really unique about this Path of Exile patch versus any other Path of Exile patch in history is the reintroduction of 3 different leagues to the core game, which is totally bananas. So even for Path of Exile, I know some people, myself included, got kind of bored quickly. Quickly is a relative term. I'll say when I get bored with a Path of Exile patch, it's usually after like, I don't know, 10 to 15 days played in the game in a 90-day period. So quickly is, not very telling here. Quickly for a Diablo patch is usually like 10 hours played, like three real days and I'm bored. So for Path of Exile, for me to get bored quickly, it's like a month and a half, 2 months, that's honestly not quick. That's a huge portion of the league time. So previous Path of Exile leagues would go something like this. You get the Harbinger League, you get a map, and then you get some bosses, and then you get extra mobs in the map. Okay, you get the Abyss League. You get some bosses, you get some extra mobs in the map, maybe a couple cool new areas. Okay, Breach League. You get some bosses, you get some extra mobs in the map, and maybe a few new areas. Essence League, some bosses, you get the idea. They all kind of work like that, right? Not all. I mean, a lot of them work like that. Wasn't really a ton to do. Incursion was a pretty big departure because Incursion gave you the temple system, which was completely off the Atlas once you unlocked it. And then Delve was kind of even more bananas than that. Delves went way off the rails. It gave you a ton to do off of the Atlas. So why is Betrayal League any more exciting? Well, the Immortal Syndicate hideouts are going to be off of the Atlas. Okay? You're going to get Incursions back, which are off of the Atlas. You're going to get the Beast Crafting League back, which is not technically off the Atlas, but it gives you some cool new crafting options and a different side area that is off of the Atlas if you're into kind of the bestiary thing. Yeah, that the amount of stuff that you can do that's not on the Atlas, that's not in the map system, is pretty bonkers for this league. Now, if you're familiar with Diablo, not familiar with Path of Exile, the Atlas is the Rift system, right? So generally a league mechanic in Path of Exile would give you a bunch to do inside of the Rift system that's new and different. But not a whole lot to do out of it. Well, this one is bringing a ton of stuff back into the core game. You're going to be able to go into Delves. You're going to be able to go into Incursions. You're going to be doing some beast crafting. You're going to go into the Immortal Syndicate areas off of the Atlas. So even if you played Path of Exile before, just 2 or 3 patches ago, or if you've never played Path of Exile and you've only played Diablo, or if you played Path of Exile a million years ago, I think in any of those scenarios, there's going to be some really cool stuff for you to do in this patch in particular. I actually think Betrayal is going to be the best patch for Path of Exile, period. Even better than the Fall of Oriath. Even better than the War of the Atlas. Even better than Atlas of Worlds. This is going to add so much more because in previous leagues, you might just end up running a bunch of maps over and over and over again. In those maps, you'd find some Nemesis mobs, some Essence mobs, some Breach mobs. But the majority of the time, you were on the Atlas, right? So having the option, which you're still going to get these things through Atlas content, through the map system, it's always going to be the bulk of where you go in Path of Exile. Okay, fine. But I think it's really cool. You're going to go into Incursion temples. You're going to go into Delves. You're going to go into, Immortal Syndicate hideouts. Maybe take a sidestep and go back to your base and do some beast crafting. So this is going to give you more time off of the Atlas, because if you just do all of your time is in Delves, or all of your time is in the Atlas, or all of your time is in Incursions, it can start to feel very repetitive and samey. But with the rework of the Master Crafting system, the addition of Bestiary League, you can spend a lot of time just crafting items. You can spend a lot of time doing, Incursions. So you're not going to feel like you're just doing a currency grind on the, these specific maps, over and over again. There's going to be options for everybody. If you've never played Path of Exile, I think this is the best time to give it a shot. If you played it a million years ago and you're like, I couldn't get into it, the combat wasn't for me, the skills on gems, whatever, just play the game through Act 2. That will give you a ton of skills to play with. You'll see some of the improvements that they've made to the combat system. They smoothed out the leveling curve over a bunch of patches. And if you have played Path of Exile, let's say 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 leagues ago, you're probably already excited. You're probably already playing. I don't even need to talk to you. I'm going to be playing it exhaustively over on Twitch, twitch.tv/don'tinquire, obligatory plug. Come on by if you like my videos, if you want to see more videos, if you have ideas for future videos, obviously comment, send me a message on any of my social media, which will be linked, or just pop by my Twitch page. So I'm going to try to make some more videos, at least 1 a week, if I can, if I have the time. So just let me know what kind of stuff you'd like to see in future videos. Maybe Path of Exile related, maybe not. I'll just take this time to mention I've split off, my game content from my off topic, from my rants. So, specific to Path of Exile videos will not be a part of the Inquiring Mind series. And anything that's humorous or off topic, I'm going to include in its own category. Thanks so much for stopping by. Just, I'll see you in rail class.